Okay, Sanbonani, this is Medsan. Please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please make sure you do the right thing by clicking down below and say subscribe and click on the notifications for more of the videos. Okay, now today let's deal with probability. Okay, now whenever we deal with probability, number one, we'll have to look it from grade 10. Probability deals with chances. It deals with possibilities. So possibilities, okay, that is what it deals with, and it also deals with what we call events. So what does it mean? It means that probability is when you take chances, when you try something, you know you might fail or you might win or you might pass, but you know that you are my learner and you will pass. Okay, now let's continue. So probability deals with chances, possibilities, and events. Now let's check. Probability ranges. It ranges from 0 to 1. Okay, hence probability will have a half here. Okay, now let's continue. It says what? It says here 0 has a name, and its name is called impossible. Impossible. So whenever you have a probability being 0, you know that your situation is impossible. But whenever you have 1 as a probability, you know that it is what? It is certain. It is certain. Okay, so 0 being impossible and 1 being certain, and half being what? Equally likely, or 50-50 chances. Okay, now that is what we're having. Number one, we said probability deals with chances, possibilities, events. Probability ranges from 0 to 1. What does it mean? You won't find a negative probability. Okay, 2, you won't find a probability being greater than 1. Whenever you find it greater than 1, you know that you are the one who is wrong. Okay, now come with me. So this is what we know, and probability can be represented by P of A is equals to N of A all over N of S. This is the representation of what? Of probability. Okay, now come with me. When we speak of N of A, what does N of A means? It means this is the number of what? Of favorable outcomes. Okay, it's a number of favorable outcomes. What is this? N of S means it's a total what? Sample space. So whenever we speak of N of S, total sample space. N of A, the number of favorable outcome. How so, sir? Let's say I have what I call a dice. Let's talk about a dice. A dice has how many sides? It has 6 sides. So these 6 sides is what we call N of what? Of S. What is N of S? N of S is total sample space. Now, what is the probability of getting a 2 in this in this dice? Remember, a dice contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That is what it contains. So how many 2s do I have here? There's only 1. Hence the probability of getting a 2 will be 1 over 6. Okay, then you can punch your calculator. It will give you 0.16 or 6 something. Okay, now we'll check this one on your calculator. Okay, now come with me. That is a dice. Okay, now what's the probability of flipping a coin? A coin, remember, a coin has 2 things: a head and a what? And a tail. Okay, now what is the sample space here? It is 2. 2 becomes my what? My n of s. Okay? So what's the probability of getting ahead? The probability of getting ahead will be given by what? 1 over 2, which will be 0.5. That is how we deal with our probabilities, okay? Now, come with me. Number 1, we are going to deal with representations. Presentations of probability. Number 1, we are going to deal with what we call a Venn diagram. Okay? Number 2, we have what we call a two-way table. This two-way table is also called a contingent table. Okay? Number 3, we have what we call a tree diagram. A tree diagram. And for grade 12, we have what we call a what? A counting principle. So these are the presentation of probability. But on grade 10, we only deal with this one. Grade 11, we deal with this one and this one. Grade 12, we deal with this one. Okay? Now, let's deal with this one. Number 1, a Venn diagram. A Venn diagram. Okay? Let's talk about Venn diagram. A Venn diagram can be seen by this shape, which we know from measurements to be a rectangle. Okay? It's a rectangle. A rectangle here in probability is called a what? A sample space. It's a sample space, okay? And then if it have this thing inside, we know this is a what? An event A. Okay? So this is how we represent a probability using a what? A Venn diagram. Okay? Now let's check. Okay, if now I want to speak more about the Venn diagram, I will wipe this off. Okay, I want to speak more about what? About the Venn diagram. Okay, now a Venn diagram represents probability very well. That's why our examiners like it very well. Okay, number 1, we will have inclusive events. Inclusive events. Now, number 1, we have something like this one. Okay? This is what we are having. We have this event and this event. This event is A and this event is B. And then we have this region. Okay? We are having this region. Can you see this region? This region has a name, and its name is called what? It's called intersection. This is an intersection. Now come with me. An intersection is in between, it's an overlapping of A and B. Hence, that's why that time we used a symbol like this one for intersection, okay? But whenever we got into caps, we used and. So and means intersection, and intersection goes hand in hand with multiplication. Okay? Goes hand in hand with what? Multiplication. Okay? How so? It has a rule. The rule says what? The probability of A and B should be equal to the probability of A multiplied by the probability of what? Of B. Okay? Now for grade 10, you need to know this, but you won't use it that much. But for grade 11, this is your thing. For grade 12, this is your formula. Okay? Now that is intersection. Okay? Number 2, we have something like this one. Okay? We have event A overlaps event B. This is